the Emmaus Borough Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, personal appeals part 1. If you have a personal appeal, please approach the podium. Hearing none. Community minute, I have one. We had the official opening of the farmers market on Sunday in the cold, dreary weather. It was raining pretty much, and Councilman Hart, Councilwoman McManaman, and Councilman Anders were also there, along with Chief Palmer. And that was about it. There was nobody in the crowd or anything because it was raining. So with that, I think Terry has a couple.
It did become crowded then
Wow.
in the day, which
It
was
did
nice.
get a little lighter in the rain.
Yeah, right. Yes, I have a couple. You notice on your desk, this week is International Compost Awareness Week. I've been honored to chair this international program, and we're hoping that next year we'll be able to get CRD, health, sanitation, and codes, and possibly the Emmaus Community Garden, and we can do some sort of compost awareness program or project. Would be very fun. And Lee thank you for doing a proclamation for us.
You're
So
welcome.
we appreciate that. Also have May 15th is Altitude Marketing's ribbon cutting, as everybody knows. That should be great, and I was lucky enough to get inside and look, and it's just so, it's beautiful. And then the last thing, I don't know if everybody is aware, the Emmaus Historical Society, this is the year of celebrations. So starting in January, they had a program on 1909, then they moved to 1959. We'll be talking a little bit about 1984 on May 15th, and Mike Waddell and I will be presenting on the 2009 anniversary celebration. As I've mentioned to a few people, that was life-changing for me living in Emmaus, 3 years of planning. But the photos that we've gone through for this program, there are thousands. And it has just been so much fun thinking of all the anecdotes and the stories from this celebration year. So if you guys can come out, it will be really a lot of fun. It is 7 o'clock, St. John's, next May 15th.
St. John, GCC, or Lutheran?
Lutheran. Thank you.
And what time did you say?
7 p.m.
Thank you. All right. No special presentations. Council meeting minutes from April 15th, 2019. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Councilman Hart, seconded by Councilman Dufresne. Any questions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. There's no decisions on bids. Communications, Dana Davies is requesting appointment to the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. Who's going to interview them?
Parks and Rec tomorrow.
All right, Parks and Rec. And my wife Paulette Lamberg sent a letter of resignation in for the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. I believe she served for, I want to get this right, I think it was 7 years. Yep, 7 years. I have to thank her publicly because I actually asked her if she would serve because at that time membership was struggling. So she loved booking the bands. She booked the bands for this year. Hopefully everybody enjoys them. So with her work schedule being in retail, she's rarely available for when the events are. So we received a letter from Martin Androvic for the Memorial Day Parade. This is a yearly request, and we'll refer that to staff. John Zettelmoyer Jr. sent a letter with regard to a dangerous traffic concern on, I believe it's, which street was that? George Street, and we're going to refer that to the Safety Committee. Public Safety, yeah. And then I received a letter on the desk tonight from Linda Rose Wade from Friends of the Emmaus Public Library. She's the president. As you know, they have a book sale every year. They're donated from residents, and she thanks the borough for the continued support. They collect books that are not really up to their standard for selling, but they're still usable, so they donate them to Salvation Army. Once they get 50 boxes, they come and pick them up. But the person that used to store them is no longer available, so they were wondering if the borough could provide a place. So I would refer that to Gen Ed. Okay. Anybody else have a letter of communication?
Do you want to do the library one for the award that they received?
Sure. The library also,
There you go.
they received an award for Gold Star Library, which means they met five
We have,
key literacies. And one was basic literacy, information literacy, civic and social literacy, health literacy, and financial literacy. They did a program for each one of these, and like to congratulate them on PA Forward Star program being a recipient for that. So congratulations to them. Anybody else with the communication?
Do you have the, we have one on our desk for Sips and Strings?
Oh,
Have
the
that?
event form?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually we don't address them, but
I don't have it on my
You don't
desk.
have that
this
one?
one here.
Oh.
I do have it on my desk.
Yeah, it's an event form for,
For the 1803 house.
the date's May 16th, May 20th, 2019, that passed, so it's an old one.
Oh, why do we have it on our desk?
Wait,
no, it's May.
No, it says May 6th.
I want to move to June
Whoa.
apparently.
Hoping I have tickets.
Yeah, I am.
I didn't miss it.
So, short notice, who do we refer this to?
I don't think you can.
I
I
don't
think you guys are gonna have to deal with it.
Well, it's on their property, I mean, is there
It's on
some?
it's on our property, right?
Well, yeah, the
Yeah, it's on the
1803.
1803 house.
They need a tent, they're having music, so we should address it now.
Well, the thing is, I mean, if you refer it to committee, you can't approve it as council.
So we'll approve it now.
That's the problem, is, I mean, we would deal with it tomorrow
Anything on here that's
at Ms. Baumgartner's.
Yeah, so we're gonna,
I think you're gonna have to deal with it now.
Speaker announcement.
so that's 4 days, May 16th to May 20th, 100 people. Similar to pies and pints held in the fall, which I'm not familiar with.
There's alcohol, yes.
Friends of the 1803 house. Is there anyone here for that? No?
If I may, Mr. President?
Please do.
So this is only one event, for Sips and Strings at least, and it is a ticketed event. I have tickets, so it's not, I don't know why he put the range here. But the only,
So what is the actual date for this?
the 19th, it's that Sunday, May 19th.
Which is under amplified sound, 2 to 5 on 519.
Oh, yeah. there it is.
And then if there was a comment, and the only comment that I have is under the alcohol. They had counseled with Jimmy Shantz from Lisa Biscola's office to make sure that they were good with either a BYOB and/or having the alcohol under the ticket, is what they did for the last one as
Well,
well.
it says here, alcohol is available for free with the cost of the meal, and it's an
Correct.
Italian meal, so.
And then BYOB, yeah.
And they want you to close off the street.
Where's that?
The mayor can do that.
Well, if you approve the event, that'll automatically approve the street closure.
They're asking for picnic tables, is that from us? Or do they have them? 4 trash cans,
That would be from us.
4 recycling containers, a large tent from Burl Garage,
That's theirs. They've been storing it
Oh.
over at the garage.
barricades, and no parking signs.
Isn't that just a small road?
Who's responsible for organizing this on giving us literally 16 days? No.
No.
Was it 19th?
19th.
It's 13.
13 days. Took us a while. We got 13 now.
Took you a while.
No, because I heard other numbers
Oh, yeah,
flying out there.
our-
Come
Our
on.
mathematician over there even had it wrong, I guess.
No, the 19th.
13 days, less than 2
It's the
weeks away.
13th day.
How do we handle this? I mean, this has never happened where
Listen,
we had
here's-
so many requests
So
for one
here's-
event.
Here's what I would ask you to do. First of all, I need you to probably approve the alcohol on our property and the closing of the street and the date, okay? And then what I would say is all the other details would need to be approved by Parks and Recs Committee tomorrow.
Well, is there gonna be somebody there to answer questions?
I will reach out to Mr. Farmer first thing
I'm
in the morning.
disappointed they're not here tonight.
Well, as am I, but I can't speak for him.
All right, so
I
is there a
didn't know-
motion
I
to
didn't know
approve,
anything about it.
first approve the date?
Make that motion.
Councilwoman McManaman, seconded by Councilman Schubsta. Any debate? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. No?
I thought we were having a discussion somewhere.
I asked for that, but nobody said anything.
I didn't
He was
listen to
sleeping. He's
He
up.
was, apparently. So are you an aye or a no?
it. For the event itself or the?
Just the
closure?
The
date.
date of the event.
Were you,
The date's fine.
okay,
It's okay.
7
May
ayes.
19th.
Got it.
The second thing is for closing the street off, correct? Is there a motion to close this, what street is it?
Keystone between Minor and the railroad.
Is there a motion to close that street?
I will make that motion.
Councilwoman McManaman, seconded by Councilman Dufrain. Questions or debate?
I have a question. Can our motion be predicated on the approval by Mrs. Baumgartner's committee tomorrow on the rest of it?
Well, we're approving these three things, and then we'll have a fourth motion contingent upon the Parks and Rec.
But we might not have it if, you know, if they don't approve it, the rest of it.
Who doesn't approve the rest of it?
This is the same time as the farmer's market.
Committee.
Well, it's sort of an odd question, because
Now we're closing two
they
streets.
theoretically could still have the three motions you approved
There's two
and
houses on that street.
have
We own
some of
two.
the other things denied, like the tables and things like that.
Because it's a Sunday. I thought it was a Saturday first.
Okay.
So just so you know, there's literally 3 houses on the street, we own 2 of them.
It's a dead end, it's a
Okay.
cul-de-sac.
The
And
cul-de-sac.
that
it's
part of
exactly
Keystone.
like it was for Pies and Pints. Exactly. The exact same format. Everything is the same. And that was last year. Just if that helps
So, and
anyone.
again, we're only closing it from noon to 6 on the 19th, not from the 16th to the 20th. You only need it 19th because that's the day of the event.
That's what I would suggest.
That's the only thing we're approving, because we only approved that date and those hours for this closing. So any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. All right, and the last question was,
Alcohol on the property.
motion to allow alcohol on the property.
So wait.
I will make that motion.
And I'll put a contingency upon that. Granted, they provide proper insurance.
It says it'll be faxed.
It will be faxed, but
Well, I mean,
So we
they
gotta
have to
get it.
prove it, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Yeah, no,
granted,
that needs to be.
granted, they have proper insurance. You
Yes.
amend that? Okay. So there's a motion by Councilwoman McManaman, seconded by Councilman Schubsta. Questions?
Just, with 100 people, do they need an officer there of any type with 100 without?
We're not selling it.
I mean,
Just
it's
asking.
with their dinner, so I wouldn't
I don't
think
think
no.
Okay.
We're not
just
selling it.
wanted-
And past events they've done the same type of,
The only difference is that it was beer and pizza instead of wine and violins. You know, I mean,
Right.
it's-
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. All right, and then one more motion to
What about all this product we have to?
allow the Parks and Rec Commission to finalize the details. Is that a good way to say it? All right. So is there a motion to allow the Parks and Rec Committee to finalize the details at their meeting tomorrow? Councilwoman
with you guys.
Baumgartner, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Do we cover, that covers it?
Jeff?
You think that covers it? All right. Thank you for bringing that up, Jeff.
No problem.
All right, there's no Borough Engineers report. Solicitors report.
Just a quick comment. There was a recent case handed down by the Commonwealth Court, I sent it to Shane, where they held that the municipality could not be liable under the Tort Claims Act for alcohol issues. now, it's not the Supreme Court, but it is the Commonwealth Court, and it is currently the law. I still like the idea of having insurance. I agree with your approach, but I wanted you to make you aware of that extra quiver in our package that we can use if something happens or goes wrong. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Progress.
Unfinished business, part one, we have nothing. New business, there's ordinance 1190. We will be having a second reading at our second meeting in May, which is May 20th.
No, we're doing,
This is a first
we're doing
reading.
first reading right now.
It's still.
Oh, why did I miss that? All right. So ordinance 1190, an ordinance amending chapter 15, section 407, establishing one handicap parking space on Sunday between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on the south side of Main Street in front of 332 Main Street. This is for the farmer's market. So would somebody like to place that in the form of a motion? Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Any discussion? This is a roll call vote. Councilwoman McManaman.
Aye.
Councilman Schubsta.
Aye.
Councilman Anders.
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner.
Aye.
Councilman Dufresne.
Aye.
Councilman Hart.
Aye.
Councilman Ladenburg. Aye. There's 7 ayes, and second reading then will be at our next meeting. Unfinished business, part 2. We have nothing. Items not on the agenda. Does anybody have anything to bring forward? Mayor's report.
Thank you. I have 2 proclamations this evening. The first one is Proclamation 2019-453 for Police Week. Whereas the law enforcement officers play an important role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution and protecting the lives and property of our citizens, and whereas these officers, through constant application of new procedures and techniques, are becoming more efficient in their enforcement of our laws, and whereas it's important that people realize the problems, duties, and the responsibilities of the police department, and the necessity for cooperating with them in maintaining law and order. And whereas it is proper for the citizens to express gratitude for the dedicated service and courageous deeds of law enforcement officers and for the contributions they have made to the security and well-being of all people. And whereas on October 1st, 1962, by joint resolution, Congress requested the President designate May 15th of each year as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the calendar week during which May 15th occurs as Police Week. Now, therefore, I, Leanne Gilbert, Mayor, Borough of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, proclaim that the week of May 12th through May 18th, 2019, be known as Emmaus Police Department Week, and I urge all the residents and friends of Emmaus to join in this observance. Done the 6th day of May, 2019, the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. This next one is longer, and it is a new one for me to do this year. So this is Proclamation 2019, number 458, International Compost Awareness Week. Whereas the United States Composting Council Research and Education Foundation, along with Canada, Australia, the United Kingdom, and other countries, have declared the first full week of May to be the annual International Compost Awareness Week. And whereas composting is a way of retaining organic resources to the soil and is a way of conserving water during extreme drought or flooding conditions, reducing water consumption and pollution, an improved method of decreasing the dependence on chemical fertilization and decreasing erosion. And whereas composting is an effective form of waste reduction, reuse, and recycling, and since organic materials make up approximately 30% of the material going to landfills, composting is becoming one of the primary methods communities use to reach waste diversion goals. And whereas the Emmaus community, through home composting, and the Emmaus Public Works Department, through processing of organic yard waste at the Emmaus Compost Center, can have significant impact on clean water, soil, climate change, and landfill diversion by using compost for public works projects. And whereas this year's theme, Cool the Climate, compost, was selected to highlight the connections between soil health and the climate. Soil plays an important role in our environment. Healthy soil is at the heart of planetary, agricultural, and human health. This year's theme shows the relationship between soil management. Practices with compost is key to soil health and mitigating climate change. By composting, we return nutrients to the soil, help capture carbon from the atmosphere, resist drought and disease, and provide fresh air. Now, therefore, I, Leanne Gilbert, Mayor of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, do hereby recognize the efforts of the Composting Council Research and Education Foundation, Extension agents, soil conservation sanitation stewards, householders, landscapers, farmers, recyclers, public works, composters, gardeners, and plant growers everywhere hereby proclaim the week of May 5th through the 11th, 2019 as International Compost Awareness Week, done the 6th day of May 2019 in the borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania.
You knocked that out.
Can you read that again?
Yeah, please. I missed half.
I missed the third paragraph.
Yeah, no.
A lot of information in there.
And the other item is my list of activities for the first quarter of the year. I'll report progress.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Committee reports. Public Works Committee Chairman Anders.
Wow, how do I follow that up?
We got a proclamation.
Very easily.
Progress.
I have nothing for official action. We meet Wednesday here in Borough Chambers, 4 p.m. Progress.
Thank you. Health, Sanitation, and Codes Committee Chairman Shipsta.
Okay, first, we have a resolution. We have resolution, let me go through it right. A resolution for approval to submit a Department of Environmental Protection Act 190, Section 901 grant for financial assistance with household and small business waste collection for efforts for the Borough of Emmaus First Annual Dumpster Day.
All right, there's a motion to approve Resolution 2019-20. Is there a second? Councilman Dufresne, any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Okay, second one we took care of was the ordinance for the handicap parking for the farmer's market. Dumpster Day, we talked about, we're in our committee, we're going to go over the logistics of that and all the details, but we have determined that it will be October 5th, correct, Mr. Pepe?
Yeah, we need a motion
And we need
to approve.
and I'd like to make I'd like to make a motion to approve Dumpster Day, our first annual Dumpster Day on October 5th.
And we're gonna have times, or will that be worked
Date and
out?
times will be determined
Okay.
at the committee level.
There's a motion by Councilman Shipsta, seconded by Councilman Anders. I did read the minutes on the from the meeting, and it says it's going to be an all-hands type thing. I would also recommend, I didn't see it anywhere, the Environmental Council, to invite them to join in. I think that would be a good idea. So, any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. 7 ayes.
And the notes, you could see that we were pretty busy in the meeting. We did address the zoning issue in regards to churches, so we are working on a draft for that to modify the zoning ordinance for churches. And we also had some discussion in regards to the compost center, in regards to commercial usage on times when it is closed. So you can see in the notes that we have some discussion in regards to a keypad that commercial landscapers could use to access the site. The household hazardous waste grant, we took care of that, so Mr. Heppy is going to work on drafting a grant that will help us with a reimbursement of 50% of the cost.
Great.
And Dumpster Day, we have October 5th, so we've approved that already. In your notepads, you'll also see the Whitetail quarterly reports. It'll give you the breakdown of the days of the week that we have trash pickup, and in regards to trash and recycling, so you can see when it peaks at certain points and when it's brought down based on the pickup schedule that we have, which is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We talked about a pilot program that we'll get some more details on in regards to some recycling bins. And I think that was all. Oh, and then we're also addressing an ordinance that regards to murals, because we don't have anything in our ordinance in regards to how we handle murals in the area for. And the handicap parking we took care of, so I will say that our next meeting is scheduled for May 29th at 4:30 p.m. in council chambers. Progress.
Thank you, Chairman Shipsa. You're a busy committee.
A little
It's
bit.
nice to see you guys active.
Yeah.
I just, in case council didn't see, the Whitetail Quarterly Report, it's
Right.
very thorough, and it's something that we had not gotten in the past, and shows what a good team environment they are working with us, so if you get a chance, read that.
All right, Parks and Recreation Committee Chairwoman Baumgartner.
We have nothing for official action tonight. Our next meeting is tomorrow, May 7th, 4:30. We have a full agenda, so we'll report back next time progress.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee Chairman Dufresne.
Nothing for official action. Next meeting is May 8th at 9:15. I will not be present for the 2 meetings this week, so hopefully the other 2 members will, so that we can have a meeting.
We have interviews for paramedics.
So,
I'll be there.
okay.
Okay.
So progress.
Thank you. General Administration Committee is myself. We have Resolution 2019-17, disposal of municipal records. The resolution is resolution in accordance with the Municipal Records Act of January 18, 1968, as approved for local government records by Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission Bureau of Archives and History, as approved by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania on December 18, 2008, and amended July 23, 2009, authorizing the Borough of Emmaus to dispose of certain municipal records. Would somebody like to approve the resolution? Make a motion. Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilwoman Baumgartner. Any discussion?
So this is an interesting one. These are old reels from, they've got to be the 1950s or something, of what we think are probably 911 calls. We don't know if there's even anything on the tapes. But, you know, the first inkling was given to the Historical Society, except for they were probably 911 calls. But yeah, we found them like in the catacombs of the basement. So it's nothing written. It's just these old reels of tape is what we're getting rid of this time. So.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There's 7 ayes. We have Resolution 2019-18, Municipal Record Retention and Disposition Schedule. A resolution adopting and establishing the Municipal Record Retention and Disposition Schedule adopted by the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission in March 2019 as the borough's policy for the retention and disposition of municipal records. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the resolution? Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilman Schubsta. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There's 7 ayes. You can look at the committee meeting notes, what we discussed. Our next meeting is this Thursday at 9 o'clock in the morning. Budget and Finance Committee, Chairman Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier this evening at the Budget and Finance Committee meeting, we recommended Resolution 2019-19 to pay the list of bills received and also payroll taxes and payroll, summarizing to $711,179.33. In addition, in your packet was the May 2nd memorandum indicating the 5 top bills for the month. I'd offer Resolution 2019-19 in the form of a motion for approval.
There's a motion to approve the bill list by Councilman Hart. Is there a second? Councilman Dufresne. Questions on the bill list? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There's 7 ayes.
Don't ask things about stuff you don't understand, Ron.
Our next meeting is scheduled for May 9th at 11 a.m. I report progress.
Thank you. Waiting for my tablet. Community Relations Planning and Development Committee, Chairwoman McManaman.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have one item for official action tonight. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Patty Faninez to the Emmaus Arts Commission with the term expiring February 7th, 2022.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Hart. Any discussion? I read her her experience, and she's a photographer and a oil painter, so it would be a nice addition to the commission. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. There's 7 ayes.
You'll see the committee meeting notes, and we, CRD will be the one that's talking about the mural ordinance. And our next meeting is May 16th at 4:30. I report progress.
Thank you. Junior Council Member Hausman, your report.
Thank you. May 13th to May 21st marked marks the keystones for Emmaus High School. SATs were on May 4th. Emmaus students painted a mural for EHS. The Emmaus High School Chorale is, a spring concert is Thursday and Friday. College fair was last Thursday. Varsity softball and baseball plays CCHS.
That's Central,
Okay, thanks.
Central Catholic.
Okay, that's what, I just wrote down CC.
That's all right.
Junior varsity and varsity volleyball play Parkland. And junior varsity boys lacrosse and varsity lacrosse play in Parkland tonight. I report progress.
Thank you.
One question for you. Do you know when the art show is?
The art show,
Should be in May.
It's in May, right?
I believe so. It's on the Emmaus High School website. I know I saw it on there.
Okay.
Thank you, Jonas. Junior council member does not attend meetings during the summer?
So I spoke with Mr. Hossman about that, and he is interested. They have the option to.
Yeah.
He is interested. We still have to get together and have a meeting. I know that his schedule seems to be as busy as mine.
Yeah.
You
And
know, I mean, he
just-
travels to places like Europe.
Yeah.
So
And Jonas, so you know too, in June, July, and August, we only meet once a month. We don't have 2 meetings.
Okay.
So it's the third week of June, third Monday of June, July, and August. So if that helps too.
Thank you.
It's 3 dates instead of 6.
And that's all on the website as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you have various board and commission meeting minutes. There's 9 or 10 maybe. Personal appeals part 2, does anybody have an appeal?
Griffin Herald. This is a personal appeal or really a thought, and it's kind of a little bit impromptu, but it's in spirit of Police Week and public safety. I just wanted to say that I like, and I think a lot of residents are given some good feedback on the newsletters that go out in the fall and the spring and the other seasons, and specifically I think sometimes there's area reserved for the police to comment and provide some public safety tips on, stuff for your home or your car and things like that. That's good dialogue. I think the, breakfast with a police officer or
Coffee with a
coffee,
cop.
not a breakfast, a coffee. I think that stuff is good too. Again, it opens up dialogue. So then I think, public safety issues, and then I think some of the broader public safety issues that, really a lot of people are concerned with, and the larger ones that we're reading about kind of like every, unfortunately, we're reading with a lot more frequency, things like that on a weekly or monthly basis. And I think you kind of know where I'm going with this, the larger topic of gun violence and gun safety. These are kind of systemic, large issues that unfortunately our country and the rest of the world is dealing with right now. I think our country specifically has a lot to come through to attempt to move to the next step on this. I think that the problem itself is, a portion of it's at the federal level, a portion of it's at the state level, probably a little bit at the county, and maybe a little bit at the local level. So what does this mean for Emmaus? The police force, our public safety people are our direct link, are the faces that we see. So I would give Emmaus any sort of props if in the communication with either public safety or the police department, if they could attempt to start having a very basic dialogue on gun safety and gun violence. I think it's an issue that we all see. I think it's very important, and I think that at the local level can't solve this problem, but I think the best thing that we can do at the local level is at least start a dialogue, and maybe that dialogue is already happening. And if I go back in newsletters from 2 or 3 years ago, maybe we've already talked about it. But I think it's so visible in the news that I feel that it'd be wonderful if we could at least start a dialogue on that. And it could be as simple as the beginning dialogue is just gun safety tips, and maybe then the next phase could be a little bit more on mental health and whatever the list of the 10 different things are that kind of contribute to the overall problem. So again, it's not really an appeal, it's really a thought. Just passing on what was in my head to see if it's worth discussing and bringing up with the community. Thank you. And no response needed. This is just something to think about.
All right. Did you sign in?
Yep, I'm going to sign them right now.
Thank you. Any other public appeals? Borough Manager's report.
First and foremost, Linnea Pearson's last day as our spring intern was on Friday. Linnea did a lot of great work for us on GIS mapping. She helped me with, her main project was supposed to be to map the parks and the trail system, although that turned into like project number 9 or 10. And it was actually kind of the last thing that she did because we had her do a slew of other projects. So she did a very good job. I have hired Sierra Taylor as our fall intern. She will be concentrating on the water system as we are mandated by DEP to create an entire GIS system of our water system. So she will be working on that project as a primary project. We've hired April Scheel as our new animal control officer. April's effective date was May 1st. The mayor has sworn her in. She is on the go. April's full-time job is she's actually a paramedic for the borough. So you see some of her qualifications in your iPads. Todd Garloff has retired as a full-time police officer. Todd was a well-respected sergeant in the police department for many years. Great person, great police officer. I can't say enough positive things about Todd, and anybody that knows him, I think, would say the same. He's what, when you think of Emmaus Police Department, he's one of the guys that you think of as far as the way that they treat the community, the professionalism, and the hard work and dedication to the borough. Todd was a dedicated police officer for more than 25 years for us, so best of luck to him in his final retirement. However, with that said, he is going to come back and work part-time for us. One thing that Todd's going to do for us is he is our certified truck inspector. So the tractor trailer inspections, which are very important to us, Todd will be doing that inspection work for us. So we will see him underneath some trucks and doing inspections. We've hired Eleanor Creeman of Emmaus, Linda Foster of Emmaus, and Joyce Williams of Emmaus as concession stand attendants for $7.25 an hour. And we've hired Ashley Rearig from Bethlehem, Grace Powers from Emmaus, and Clara Kennedy from Emmaus as pool cashiers at $7.25 an hour as well. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will report progress.
Thank you. President's business, I have nothing. Motion to adjourn. Councilman Anders, seconded by Councilman Hart. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. 7 ayes. Meeting adjourned at 7:40.
My last day.
I thought he was going to vote.